Welcome to the August Cheese Club for Scardello. My name is Rich, this is Alejandro, and we are going to guide you through this month's Goudas. That's the theme for this month. I really love it when we do this theme that is stylistically based, it's cheese based. And so this one, all about Gouda style cheeses. And so of course, a lot of those are going to come from the Netherlands, but we do have, I think, at least one other one. No? Are they all from the Netherlands? They are. Okay, well, every cheese is from the Netherlands. So that's what we've got. 6 different cheeses. So we'll go ahead and start with the standard club, which comes with 4. And so first off, we've got Gouda style cheese called Edam. This comes from the Dutch village of Edam. That's where it originally came from. This is also a cheese that inspired the French cheese Mimolette, because Louis XIV was angry with the Dutch, but Edam was his favorite cheese. So he told his cheesemakers, go make something that's like that, but not like that. And so, but what I like about this is a pretty straightforward cheese, easy to just snack on and enjoy. Comes with like a classic red wax on the outside. Really young, just easygoing cow's milk cheese.
And when we put the menu together, we wanted to make sure that it was, because previously when we done Gouda before, we go through all different sort of producers, but also types of milk. I think this was more about the aging of the cheeses, because we really went through the root of like what a Gouda is like, and I feel like Edam clicks that really well. It's a cheese that's very lactic, sour, even compared to our more aged Goudas, has this high acidity that naturally comes from the cheese, but it will be a great cheese for melting, even just snacking on its own. It has this creamy, buttery, and almost like bouncy texture. Really good.
I think you'll really like it. And the other thing I should mention is so what makes a Gouda, and it's really process. And so when the cheesemaker has the curd in the vat, they cut the curd, they drain about half the way off, and then they add warm water back into the vat. This is called washing the curd. And what they're doing is they're washing away some of that lactic acid that would eventually be lactose that would eventually be turned into lactic acid. They're washing that lactose away, and so you end up with a cheese that has a lot less acidity, and therefore you end up with some of the sweeter notes that are just naturally occurring in the milk. And of course, the longer that cheese ages, the more those notes, those base level taste, flavors, and notes, those are going to get stronger. And so we'll see that going on here. But our next cheese we've got is Roomkaas. Roomkaas is a Gouda style cheese that is made by either not skimming any cream off the vat, so it's a whole milk Gouda, sometimes even adding some cream to it. Roomkaas actually just means like creamy cheese, right? So and so what you get is like this silky smooth texture.
Yeah, it's so buttery. Like for most Goudas, when we were looking for the cheese for the club, I also wanted things that were maybe outside of the box for a Gouda, and that's so many things we can go for. But for a Gouda that has cream added to it, it's really rare. And for most Goudas, or at least traditional, tends to be around 48 to 50% fat matter for butterfat content. But for Roomkaas, it's around like 60%, and so for a cheese that just melts in your mouth, something you won't expect for a Gouda.
Yeah, for sure. So once again, kind of another expression of what this style can be like. Next up, we have Benning's Goat Gouda. So another kind of misconception about Gouda is that it's all cow's milk, and that the only thing in Holland is our cows, and that's just not true. They also have goat and sheep as well, and in fact, there's regions of the Netherlands that are very specific to goats. But what we have here is a goat's milk Gouda, and one of the things I love about showing Gouda, goat's milk in Gouda form, is that goat's milk can be kind of polarizing, and some people don't always gravitate towards it. But when you have it as a Gouda, you're really going to get those like sweeter and candied notes that are found in that milk, and you're going to lose a lot of those like really acidic and sometimes tart or tangy notes.
Yeah. Cheeseland, the company that this cheese comes from, or creamery, they make amazing Gouda, but it feels like in a way that really showcases the sweetness of a Gouda. We also have featured another one of them for the Deluxe Club, but for the goat's milk one, it has this very creamy and almost like sliceable like quality to it that you can just easily cut into the cheese. You will notice how it melts in your mouth, but I will even compare this to when we do our previous club, like French, or even the goat's milk when we have some Tom style cheese. Kind of has that bendable texture that's a little, it bends before it breaks apart, but I feel like that combined with the sweetness of the goat's milk and the texture of the Gouda, it makes an amazing cheese.
Yeah, for sure. And so, those are the first three. The fourth Gouda that we've got is our most aged Gouda that's going to be in this box. And this is an 18-month Gouda from Articas. Articas, one of the most important producers in the Netherlands. And like if you buy a cheese tray from us and decide you want Gouda on there, the Gouda that we're going to put on there is their 60-month Gouda. So really, really caramely. But what you'll see comparing this cheese to the others in the box is it's going to have some of that crystalline structure. It's going to have some of those really caramel notes. All those sweeter notes you found in some of the younger cheeses are really going to come out because of the age. And it's one of the most important things about Gouda as a whole, and understanding it is age is something that is really important to the Dutch, and it really matters when it comes to the flavor of the cheese.
Yeah, we have featured before the older version of the Articas for the club, but I think the 18 months is the sweet spot where we still are close enough to all these other younger versions of Gouda, but you still get to see some of those tears and crystals developing in the cheese and a more prominent flavor of the cheese itself.
Yeah, so we got a couple accompaniments with the standard box. Of course, what can you say about apricots?
Apricots. I think just like having the cheese that's so golden, colorful with the apricots, it really has been a great pairing. We've done it before for our classes, but I like this slightly funky yet sweet flavors you get from the dried apricots, because I think that managed so well to bring out sweetness and that caramelly flavor from the Goudas.
Yeah, and also like texturally, like the apricot with like especially the more aged Gouda, that'll be really fun.
That'll be fun. For our next accompaniment for standard, we wanted to do caramel sauce, and this is the reason why we planned the whole menu about. We talked about how aged Gouda has a really good caramel-like flavor profile. So having our notes, so having the caramel with the cheese will be a great pairing. But I think just focusing on the sweeter notes of the cheese with the caramel sauce will be a great thing that we have featured before for class, but I feel like it will be surprising for people to have for the first time. Excited for that.
Yeah, this salted caramel sauce is lights out. It's just one of the best things that you can put on practically anything. And so, I don't need to say I hope you enjoy it. I know you will. All right, so for our deluxe club, we've got a couple of additional cheeses. The first of which is going to be Euphoria. Euphoria, also from Cheeseland. Cheeseland works with small farms to get their milk. They produce really delicious Goudas, like Alejandro was saying, and this is a sheep's milk Gouda. This is a Gouda that's been in the case since the day we opened, and I've always really loved this cheese. Sheep's milk has a certain quality to it, and so having this like Gouda style, it just brings out the sweeter notes. And if you like this cheese, next month's selection is going to be focused on sheep's milk cheeses. So this is a good kind of preview for that. This obviously won't be in that box.
Euphoria is such a great Gouda that we carry at all times. Probably one of our most populars, but it's such a great way to showcase people, like Rich mentioned. Doesn't necessarily have to be a pecorino or a manchego sheep's milk. And then when you put that inside something that's so sweet and caramel-like, even with the extra aging of Euphoria, it makes for a cheese that just tastes like candy.
Yeah, it is really fantastic. Like every aged person that's ever been in here, like from the smallest kid to the most mature adult,
everybody
finds that this is a great cheese, and so I'm glad it's in the box. Last, we've got a seasonal cheese called Grasskast. This is a cheese that is made when the cows go out on very fresh grass at the beginning of the season. So it's going to have like a beautiful golden color. This isn't an overly aged cheese, but you're going to get some richness from just the way that the milk is produced. And what the cows eat, what the animals eat matters a lot. And so this really kind of celebrates what the animals are eating.
And I think the most striking thing about the cheese, once you open it, is the golden color of the base of the cheese, which that just translates from the fresh grass the animals are eating.
Yeah, you just get a brilliant golden color. I should mention that all of these cheeses have wax rinds, so don't eat that. So none of the rinds on this. I mean, if you do, it's not a good idea. I'll just say it like that.
It will make it better.
So we've got a couple of accompaniments with this deluxe club as well.
For the next accompaniments, we had to do something savory since we have so many sweet things going on, and we wanted to do some mustard. Pop mustard, it's a collaboration between Chef and Brooklyn Cure, which is a company out of Ohio. They make a lot of things. They're like condiments, cured meats, as well as some seasonings. We carry their mustards for a long time, but what I like the most is the texture that you get. They're technically pickled seed mustards, and these ones are flavored with IPA beer and lime kefir. So you do get a really, really nice acidity that will help cut through the richness of all these buttery, sweet cheeses.
Yeah, they call it like mustard caviar because it's literally those seeds they're soft, but they do kind of pop in your mouth when you bite into them. Really, really tasty. Not super spicy. It's delicious on all sorts of stuff, and should be a great accompaniment with the box. The other accompaniment we have is Nita Crisp crackers. These are from Fort Collins, Colorado. This is something we also carried since the day we opened. We haven't had them in a little while. They went through an ownership change, but the new owners are awesome. This is my hands down favorite cracker. It's really thick.
Yeah.
It's flavorful, and you can like dip it into like a stubborn soft cheese that other crackers break in, and it'll hold its form. It'll stand up to hard cheeses. It's going to be, I think you're going to really like this.
Yeah, there's very few crackers that we carry that are still handmade, hand labeled, hand packaging. And we haven't had it in a while. I recently got them again, and I forgot how good these crackers are, because I think that's such a big thing for a cracker when you put it in cheese. It has such a great texture to stand up to hard cheese, but also a great snappy texture that will make it so enjoyable even with a softer cheese.
Yeah, no, this is, once again, like I always have some of these at home. I'm glad you're going to have some at home now too. But that's the club. That's our standard and deluxe package. Amazing Goudas, so that's our focus with some really fun accompaniments. As always, if you have questions, comments, suggestions, anything, shoot me an email, rich@scardellocheese.com. It's the only one on the website. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you're enjoying the club as much as we are. And like I said, next month we have sheep's milk cheese, and even a further preview in October. We're going to be focusing on Italy, and particularly Piemonte, which I just came back from, and so visited some producers there. Really excited to share some of those stories and some of those cheeses with you guys. So thank you for being part of the club. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next month.